Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to That's Football. It's Premier League predictions. It's win, lose or draw with Don Robbie, but also it's a big week in football. Moaners and bottlers is basically what we're going to be talking about. Forest, are they still in a top five race? Amazing final four games for them, Chelsea and Villa. We'll get into that. But also, amazing, Robbie. Welcome to the show.
You're right. How you doing? Who's the moaners?
Well, I don't know whether you might be a moaner, you might be a realist, but I've heard a lot of people going, Arsenal could finish second in the league, semi-finals, but Spurs could have a better season if they win the Europa League. Also, Man City could finish fourth, win the FA Cup, but Man United could have a better season if they win the Europa League. Yet Spurs and Man United have been absolutely terrible in the Premier League. Where do you stand on this? Because some people are saying it's a joke. You can be that bad in the Premier League and winning a Europa League. And where would you sit on that? Do you think it's a better season for Spurs than Arsenal if they win the Europa League?
Listen, you know what? I don't subscribe to you have a better season if you're in a cup which another team can't be in. It doesn't make no sense, right? If Manchester City win the FA Cup, they've had a better season than Arsenal, right? If Newcastle qualify for the Champions League, they've had a better season than Arsenal because those were both competitions that we were in. We were in all those competitions that they were in. They won the one. So, you know, Newcastle won the Carabao Cup and they've qualified for the Champions League. They've had a better season than us because all we've done is qualify for the Champions League. But to me, for Manchester United and also for Spurs, they're in a competition that we're not in because we finished way above that. We couldn't get in that competition. Same with Chelsea. We're not in the, you know, what should we do next season? Finish like seventh so we can be in the Conference League so that when they mess up, say, for instance, against a Real Madrid, we're a top side and go out of our competitions was very, very difficult to win. We can turn around so we had a better season. I don't subscribe to that. Obviously, I don't want to see Spurs win a trophy, right? But I don't subscribe to that. They've still had a horrendous season for me in the league, but it would mask over it. And it's a trophy. And if you're a fan of those teams, you've saved a terrible season with a trophy. But to me, you can only have a better season. This is how I look on it. If you won a competition that the other team was in, and we're not in the Carabao Cup, and we're not in the Conference League, so you know it's just like when West Ham won it. You know, so unless Tottenham have had 19 defeats in the league this season. This is a great season for them. They still all want their manager sacked, even if he wins that competition. Yeah. So that tells you all you need to know.
I think as well, I actually agree with that. I actually think Arsenal have had a good season, which I'll mention. We'll get onto Arsenal in a moment in the second leg.
Sorry to jump in there because, despite what I just said, it depends. I think if
you didn't buy a striker, did you? We've been about this for so long. It's criminal.
It's not even there. If we get to the Champions League final, right, which we still can, but if we got to the Champions League final and we lost in the final, I guess you could say we had a good season, but again, we've fallen short. Or if we don't win the Champions League, we've fallen short, right? I think then you've got to look on it and say it hasn't really been a successful season because we didn't really mount a title challenge. In my books, we should have done much better in the league. So it's all on next week for us. You know what I mean? What can we do? Can we turn this one goal deficit around? But as I said, when the comparisons start to come in, like for instance, your comparison with City, I think it's a difficult one, but I just feel that you can't, how can you compare it if you've not been in the same competition? If City were in the Europa League, and they were playing Bodo Glimt.
Arsenal would win it. Liverpool would win it. Man City would win it. I totally agree. And I think there's two things I would say. You get this ridiculous, and I can't remember who said it. A few people have said it. A few journalists have said it. A few ex-players have said it. It's embarrassing that Man United or Spurs can get into the Champions League through winning the Europa League. But it's the rules. It's the rules. It's like that red card last night. It was harsh, but when you read it, it's the rules. And Man United and Spurs legitimately qualified for the Europa League last year. They wouldn't get anywhere near it this year. But the whole point is, you qualify for something. Chelsea shouldn't be in the Club World Cup, but they won the Champions League a million years ago, and apparently that gets you in it, even though Liverpool are the best team.
Yeah.
Man United and Spurs legitimately qualified, and when you look at the Europa League, Man United and Spurs are the best two teams in it, arguably.
Yeah.
Now that says more about the Europa
League. They are.
Arsenal,
both those teams at the start of the competition, when you looked at the teams in it,
were favourites.
Yeah, they're supposed to get to the final, and then when you looked at and you could see through the seedings why, and when you look at the Conference League, Chelsea are supposed to get to the final. If you look at the Champions League, well,
that's the best of the best, isn't it?
You look at it and say Arsenal, they've done very well to get where they are. I mean, they beaten Real Madrid. They were the favourites to win it. So,
I think, Robbie, this is the strength of the Premier League in the sense that you've got two teams who deserve to be where they are in the Premier League. Man United and Spurs deserve to be in a relegation battle. We just don't have relegation anymore. They're terrible. Brentford are better. Brighton are better. They're all better than Man United and Spurs. But when you look at Europe, in the Champions League, you'll come up short because you will have a PSG, a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, whoever, and that's hard for Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City. But in the Europa League and in the Conference League, this is where the strength of the Premier League is there. I think you'd have to go a long way down the Premier League not to find somebody that could win that Europa League. I mean, I genuinely think if Brentford could put their strong team out, they could do it. The Premier League is ridiculously strong, but people get confused with, oh, but PSG battered Arsenal, and they were better than Arsenal. They were better than Liverpool. They were better than Man City. But that we're not talking about the best team in Europe. Doesn't mean their league's the best league. The best league is the one that is intense, is competitive, and is strong from top to bottom. And all right, take relegation out, but Man United or Spurs could finish fourth from bottom and win the Europa League. That shows you the strength of the league. But 100%. It's about trophies, Arsenal. For Arsenal, the trouble is, it's about trophies. Second place, semi-final of Champions League is good, but Man City have been rubbish this season, but they'll probably walk away with an FA Cup.
Yeah, and as I said, you'd have to say they'd have a better season than us, right? Because we were in that competition. So we could have won that too. We can't turn around to them and say they haven't had a better, because we were in that. We got knocked out. Same if Palace won it. Same thing. They've had a better season than Arsenal because we were in that competition, right? But in particular City, because they would have qualified for the Champions League and won a trophy. So you'd have to say overall they definitely had a better season than us. But listen, I just want to think on the positives anyway, that we could still go through, even though it's a difficult task. And I agree with you, Mark. I think some people have been way over the top. We did create chances in that game. Don't get me wrong. PSG were a better team than us on the night. They played really, really well. And they could have had two, but they didn't, right? And we've seen, that's Champions League sometimes, right? When Man United beat Bayern that time in the final, I think even you that Bayern were all over you, but it didn't matter because you got the goals that count. So Arsenal next week got to roll their sleeves up, got to really fight for their lives and go out there and try and produce something special, because I still feel that any of the four teams that are left in it could win that Champions League. It's very evenly matched, but PSG were very, very good against us, and they deserved their win. But it's only one game. There's another game to be played next week, and Arsenal have to turn up in that. It's huge. But I got a compliment. Just going back to your games, I got a compliment. I mean, the Tottenham game, it's not even hate, but I expect them to beat Bodo Glimt at home. Norwegian team, first time ever in a semi-final. Let's be real. If it would have been the old format, I don't even think they would have got that far. No disrespect to them, right? But Spurs there, is that one goal that Bodo Glimt got back, give them a bit of hope. It's a plastic pitch next week. That's a little challenge for Spurs, but they should go through. But United, I thought yesterday were very, very impressive. To go to Athletic Bilbao, it's a very noisy stadium. They were up for it. They've got some good players as well. I know one of their main players are missing, but they've got some very good players, Nico Williams, people like that. And United, for me, dominated the game. And even before the sending off, they were the better team, deserved to win. And I think I predicted that United would win this competition from they went through against Lyon, even before that, actually, because it's just the experienced players, your Casemiros, your Brunos, even Harry Maguire, these sort of players. They've been in these situations, been in these big games. those Athletic Bilbao players, probably apart from Nico Williams, haven't really been on that stage. So, it was very, very impressive by Manchester United. I think United are sort of in the league, maybe not, and maybe it's because they got their eye on this competition. But in the cup competitions, they're coming back into a bit of form, and then you see Ahmad coming back, and that I think it's looking rosy for United. Well. Sorry,
we're unbeaten in Europe as well.
Yeah, you haven't lost a game in Europe. I think it's looking rosy for United to go all the way.
I hope so. You just don't know. I mean, the only thing I would say is, and it could impact Arsenal next week, it's only 1-0. We've had 3 sending offs in every round, and it does help you, and they've all been sending offs, but you just wouldn't, I'd hate to be in a final against Spurs and get someone sent off or something like that. But look, we'll see what happens. Let's bring it back to the Premier League. We're going to go through our win, lose, or draw. Robbie's got a 5-point gap. We'll go through what happened last week, and then we'll predict this week. But there was another game last night, and it would have been a bigger game if there wasn't European games going on.
Watch a bit of it.
Brentford beat Forest. I only saw the result really late on, but Brentford beat Forest 2-0, which means I think obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle. There's one spot left for the top 5. Chelsea on 60, Forest on 60, and Villa on 57. All 4 games to go. This is Villa's run. They've got Fulham at home this weekend. Then they've got Bournemouth away. Then they've got Spurs at home, which is right before the Europa League final. So Spurs probably played their reserves. Then they've got Man United right after the Europa League final. Chelsea got Liverpool at home, Newcastle away, United at home, Forest away. And
who's that? Sorry,
Chelsea.
Who's got Chelsea? That's a hard one.
Yeah, and then Forest have got Palace away, Leicester at home, West Ham away, Chelsea at home. Take your pick. I think if Villa win all 4, they'll probably get it. But that's
Villa could do it. Villa could do it, but they're so ropey in it. You don't know what's it. Look at them last week in the FA Cup, right? And then you got Forest, like you said about bottling it. There, I remember some Forest fans
home to Everton and Brentford in their last 2 years.
By the way, Brentford. I knew those were going to be tough games for them. Brentford are good, a good side, man. They're good at spoiling parties. You know what I mean? And the thing is, the thing that was Forest's strength, which is resolute, defend, catch teams on the counter-attack, that ain't really going to work now. You need to be the aggressive team on the front foot, going out to win games, right? And this is the problem that they've got now. Now they've got to switch up their style. They've got to go for it a bit more.
Yeah.
And the pressure, other teams know that as well. They're like, hold on, all right, we'll sit back as well. If it's a 0-0, it's a terrible result for you. You're going to have to come. You're going to have to open up. You might make mistakes. You might get nervy. And this is what we're seeing with Forest. So the pressure's on. All these teams, the pressure's on Villa. They've been sort of knocked out of everything. They've got to get into the Champions League now to save their season. But they've got winnable games, but the pressure's on. The pressure's on Chelsea. They have to get into the Champions League. Can't have another season of being tough running. But with the amount of money that they've spent, they're supposed to negotiate those games. So the pressure's on. The pressure's it's the only sort of thing in town, isn't it? Is this top 4 race? And then
it's interesting. I mean, look, Forest have lost 3 of their last 4. I'm sorry, that's bottling it. You've been in the top 3, I think, since September.
Yeah.
So that's bottling it. I think it's going to come down to Chelsea and Villa, and I think Chelsea will beat Forest on the last day and get it on goal difference. So there you go. I'm going to go Chelsea. What are you going to go with, Robbie?
You got to go Chelsea just because of the experienced players again. I mean, I know they've got a lot of young players, but again, just that additional quality, and they're just used to going out, and the expectation is go and win.
Yeah.
Whereas with Forest, it hasn't really been that, and now it is, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to handle the pressure. Because I watched, I was flicking between, and I watched a little bit of a game yesterday, and even like I sort of clocked on when they were 2-0 down. But they didn't really lay a glove on, Brentford. Like they were out of ideas, and it was a worrying sign. Worrying, you know what I mean? And I just don't think they're used to this. So, Yeah, I think you've got to go Chelsea.
You know, England could have 6 teams in the Champions League next year.
Yeah, we'll
Probably
have.
will have.
We'll have 6 teams
Yeah.
because I
It's
think
a Spurs
Spurs
United
and
final, yeah.
yeah. So we'll have 6 teams.
Yeah, madness. Just to mention it, if anyone's interested, 8th place, I think, gets Conference League this year. Fulham are in 8th, but Brentford are in 11th. Separated by Brighton and Bournemouth is 2 points. So, I mean, in their own way, they're all having a battle for Europe. And it'd be good. I think it'd be good for one of those teams to get in the Conference League because I think they win it, and then you're into the Europa League, aren't you? So it'd be nice.
Look at the teams in the Conference League this year. I mean, no disrespect to that team that Chelsea played last night. I'm going to be completely honest. I never ever heard of them in my life.
Yeah, what were they called?
Drew Garden or something like that. You know, and I'd never ever heard of that team in my whole life, and they're in the semi-final of the Conference League. So it's a competition, definitely, that a team like we just spoke about the type of players. Brentford hold on to their players; they could win that. Brighton could win that. You know, Fulham could win that. So and then you're into a Europa League the next season. So and it'd be great for their fans. So they're going to go for it. You're going to have a sort of exciting end to the season with those teams involved in the sort of top 5 race and that race for those sort of Conference League, Europa League places, because, you know, there's a lot to play for in the middle of the sort of league.
Yeah, we've got Chelsea could be playing Anthony in the final because he's doing quite well with Real Betis.
Yeah, Betis. Yeah.
To win that, I think. Okay, let's do win, lose, or draw. Obviously, we get a point for every result that we get right. We've been doing this for the last few weeks. The score line, I had it in front of me here, was 69-64 at the start of last week. It's still a 5-point gap. It's 71-66 now. We pretty much went the same on everything anyway. There was only 2 games we went different on.
How good, Mark, how good was that prediction
mine,
that I called that Palace would beat Villa? I called it, was spot on, wasn't I?
You were, and they deserved to win it. I was watching it going,
yeah,
we did get this one right. But in fairness, that would have given you a 6-point gap. But you said Bournemouth would beat United. I said it would be a draw. To be honest, I think United should have won it. But
hold on a minute, right? Yet another dodgy PGMOL. Listen, then heads need to roll in that organization. Everybody saw that game, right, and saw that Evan Nilsson should not have been sent off, right? He slipped. And I remember Alan Smith, who was doing the you wouldn't have heard it because you've been doing your watch along, right?
Yeah.
But Alan Smith said, right, that when the referee was called over to look at the screen, he said they can hear what's being said. And Alan Smith goes, at no time have they mentioned to the referee that take into account that the player slipped over, which Evan Nilsson obviously slipped over, which is what caused him to make the foul, right? And what have they done now this week? They've overturned it. Not good for us, by the way, because we've got Bournemouth and Evan Nilsson's a great player. But they've overturned it because he shouldn't have been sent off in the first place. And, you know, if you're Bournemouth now, they were on top before that. You could look on that and say that's cost us the game. You know?
Yeah, but they should have had a man sent off in the first half, so screw it.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, that's just when we say this. The VAR thing is just a joke in this country. Honestly, it is.
100%. So in the same game as well. But we mentioned that on DR Sports, didn't we, actually, on Monday? It's ridiculous how the same VAR can not give a worse red card in the first half and then give a softer one in the second half in the same game. I mean, you're always up against it when the PGMOL are a joke. But anyway, I got that right. So 5-point gap still. Full weekend of fixtures. Feels like we've had a long wait for that, but it starts off Friday night football. I mean, I ain't watching this. Fair play if anyone's watching it. Man City at home to Wolves. I can't stand watching Man City anyway, especially on a bloody Friday night. But
look at half of their fans because I mean, look at last week. Did you see how many empty seats there was when they were playing at Wembley?
Yeah, apparently it's because they go so much.
No, that's rubbish, right? Because if it was United, there'd be no empty seats. If it was Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, fan base, have they? Come on, it's a lame excuse because you still. And not only that, you know why it's not an excuse, Mark, on this particular occasion, especially. It's the only thing they can win.
Yeah,
it's not like if it was like years gone by where they're tracing a treble, they've got a Champions League game on a Tuesday. No, that's the only thing you can win.
Spoiled.
How are you not turning up to that game? Nah, not having that one. Definitely not having that one.
I'm sure you agree with them there. I do respect the fact that the tickets and the costs and everything like that and if fans don't want to go because of that, absolutely agree with it. But where I come in and I agree with you is that if that was Man United or Arsenal, you would get United and Arsenal fans who would say, I'm not going because of the cost. But because the fan bases are so big, other people would go. And Man City's problem is when you get those fans who go, I'm not paying those prices, which is their right, they don't have the fans who will come in because they don't have a big fan base.
No, exactly.
We're still going with the Man City win against Wolves. Well, then again, Wolves are quite good, but I'd go Man City win.
Yeah, I think because of what Man City are chasing, Wolves are safe now.
Yeah.
The manager's done a fantastic job. You've got to go Man City. They're at home. Haaland's back. Back in full training, so he might figure. So, yeah, I'm going to go Man City.
I'm just going to say I'm going to go Man City, but Wolves wouldn't surprise me if they did get something, but definitely got to. I need the points. I'm 5 points behind. Villa against Fulham. I'll go first on this one. Saturday lunchtime. As we were just talking about it, Villa have to win. Again, I think Fulham are more than capable, but I'm going to go Villa win on that, Robbie.
I have to go with a Villa win as well. It's a must win. Don't get me wrong. Fulham are a team that can throw a spanner in the works, but I just think because of it's so important. This is like a cup final. Villa, they lost last week badly, comprehensively beaten by Palace. They've got to bounce back. And they're strong at home. Their record at home has been very, very good. So I'm going to go for a Villa win.
Everton, Newcastle. Everton, Ipswich.
Everton.
Make it easier.
Everton, Ipswich are rubbish, man. Everton win.
Yeah, Everton for me. Interesting one here. It's almost different shades of shit here. It's Leicester against Southampton. I mean, they're both relegated. You're first on this one. I'm glad. Oh no, I'm first on this one. I'm first on this one. It's quite hard. I mean, this could be. I'm just going to go Leicester, but God knows.
Okay, I'm going Southampton because of the two teams, I think they've been playing better. Right? They can't defend, but attacking wise, they've been scoring goals. They've been having a go. You know what I mean? And I think as well, they're desperate to not get that record of having the worst ever, right? Points return. So I'm going to go for Southampton away win.
There we go. Arsenal, Bournemouth. You're up first on this one. Could be a bit of rotation. Bournemouth need a win.
Hard game to call, man, because even with your full strength team, Bournemouth a good side. They beat us earlier on in the season. We were down to 10 men. They press. If Arsenal still need to secure the top 4 finish, and I think I read that if we win this game and say Chelsea were to lose against Liverpool, we're definitely in the top 4.
Yeah,
I think we might go a bit stronger than everyone's expecting.
You don't play till Wednesday, do you?
Yeah, and I think as well we need a win just to lift the spirits. A lot of people down after the other night. So I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. I'll go for an Arsenal win I think it'd be tight, but Arsenal win it.
I'm going to go draw in that one.
Not another draw, man. Too many draws.
Yeah, well, it's hard to predict because I think Arsenal, they've got to. I agree with you. They've got to try and get a bit of momentum.
Yeah, you're probably right with a draw, but I just want to see a win at the Emirates, man. Just draw after draw after. It's been poor.
Into Sunday, Brentford, Man United. I'm first on this one. My club. I'm gonna go draw again. I think a lot of people will think Brentford are going to win, and we will rotate. We've got to rotate, but I reckon we might scrap a draw there. Again.
I don't know. I think United, that was a very impressive win the other day. Brentford are good though.
Played Thursday night.
They also played first. I'm gonna go for a shock here. I'm gonna go for a United win. It might shock you, but I don't know. I just thought they played very well last night. And the mood, and now they don't have to worry so much about big rotation for that second game. It's not until Thursday. Ahmad's back. Delit's back. Players, United win. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'll go for United win.
A good lead. These some good games, these actually. They're hard to predict, the next 5. Brighton against Newcastle. You're first on this.
That's a tough. Oh, Jesus. Again, I'm going to go, because I've got a little buffer. I'm going with another shock. I'm going to go with a Brighton win.
I'm going to go Newcastle on that. I need it's an opportunity to go different. Could be anything that. West Ham at home to Tottenham.
Ooh, here's another difficult. Who's first on this one?
It's me. I'm going to go. Oh, I don't think West Ham are so bad. I mean, it's the battle of like West Ham are fourth from bottom, aren't they? And this will be Tottenham's 20th loss. Probably going to be. I don't want to go with another draw. It's probably going to be a draw, but I'm going to go West Ham win just because I don't want to go for a draw.
Yeah, I was going to go with a West Ham win as well, just because Tottenham, they've had that game. They're, with that one goal back now, they might have to rest a few.
I think mentally as well, Robbie. Spurs, when they have these games on the weekend, they almost switch off anyway and go, "Oh, it's all about the break."
Although they can't really, West Ham. That's a hot, they don't. The West Ham fans hate Spurs. Spurs hate West Ham.
If West Ham win, they put Spurs fourth bottom.
Yeah, and I think West Ham might be driven to like inflict that 20th defeat. You know what I mean? And they've had a hard time. And this is a sort of victory that if you're a West Ham, you've got nothing to play for between now and the end of the season. This is almost like a cup final type game for their fans. They'll be up for it. I'm telling you. Tottenham won't be as up for it, but West Ham will. Going for a West Ham win.
Chelsea, Liverpool, 4:30 on Sunday.
Is that Stamford Bridge?
That's at Stamford Bridge. I can't remember who's first on this one. You're first on this one.
Oh, it's a hard one to call, but I can't see Chelsea beating Liverpool, man. Liverpool are so good this season. Liverpool win.
I'm just looking at
I think Liverpool as well. They're trying to go to trying to get like 90. I think if you're a Liverpool player and you're a Liverpool manager, you'd be well aware that there's people out there saying that, it's only because the rest of the league's been rubbish and stuff like that, which is not their fault. They've been brilliant. So if you get 90 points, you prove to everybody that, even in a normally wicked, brilliant season, we still would have won it. So they're going to be driven to win. They've been fully rested all week. I'm going to Liverpool win.
Yeah, it's important for Chelsea, that tough run-in of Liverpool at home, Newcastle away. We've got Forest away at some point. I don't know. Maybe Liverpool foot off the pedal. I don't know. I've got to go different to you. I'm going to go draw. I don't think Liverpool will lose, so I'll go draw. And then a final one is Monday Night Football. Crystal Palace at home to Forest, who have lost 3 of their last 4 and are under pressure now. Palace in an FA Cup final were brilliant last week. Me first. I'm going to go. What did I go with? I'm going to go with another draw. I've gone so many draws. I hate draws.
To me, man, this is Palace win. Palace, they're riding high. They've had a long rest in it because they played last week Saturday.
Yeah, 9
now
days.
The game's on Monday. Their fans are going to be buzzing. They're in a cup final. They're strong at home. I'm going for a Palace win.
There you go. We've got about 5 or 6 different predictions here. So it's either going to win Robbie the league or it could be a bit of a comeback. 5-point gap, remember. So I think this could be defining week. Yeah, there's only 3 weeks left after this, 3 game weeks. So there we go. Absolute pleasure to have you on, Robbie. Obviously, I'll be on DR Sports on Monday preparing for that. Yours game's on Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah.
Mark, I'll tell you, I can't. The nerves is killing me already. I don't know what I'm going to be like. Come like Wednesday, I'm going out there, man, and I'm going to be just shaking. I mean, it's all on this game, man. It's the whole season. It's like everything since August last year comes down to next week, Wednesday. It's nerve-wracking. But
PSG are a brilliant side, but what I would say about them is they don't really put teams away. Liverpool played really well, went to penalties. Villa played really well. Villa were in it in the last half an hour. They don't. Yeah. They leave you in the game. And look, United went there a few years ago. That penalty from Rashford at the end. So it can happen. Look at what Inter did in Spain. You know.
No. There's hope there. There's hope there. We got to play well though. They're a good side. We got to play well. I think we can do it. I do think we can do it, but we've got to turn up. We didn't turn up for about the first half hour of that game the other night. They were all over us, right? So we got to put in a good performance. We've got to defend well. I think if we defend well, we can win it because they give you chances. So, and with Thomas Partey coming back in, the balance will be better. So, yeah, let's Let's see.
Legend. Thanks for coming on, Robbie. Thanks everyone
Thank
for
you.
tuning in. Lots for you to get your comments in, and we'll speak to you on the next one.
Cheers.